Hi, I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts. Today we're going to continue with our series on The Snow is Falling from Hunkydory Crafts. Today we're going to be filming sessions 6 through 10. Some of you gave us some really great suggestions following sessions 1 through 5, so I'm going to try and incorporate some of your ideas into these videos as we move forward and answer some of your questions. Keep the questions and comments coming. If you like these videos and want to continue to see them, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to be notified when a new video is published, just push that little icon that has the bell. That will notify you when a new video is available. Let's get started. This kit is called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It's from the Snow is Falling collection of Hunkydory. And this one is called, this one's number is Snowy18-906. You can see that we see Santa coming into town in a variety of unconventional ways. We've got Santa coming in on a hot air balloon and 2 toppers. We've got him coming in on a train. We've got these nice greetings that are available, several little button-sized greetings. Have a Merry Little Christmas up above. So it's a great one. Oh, we also have this beautiful border down the side. Here's another wonderful topper of Santa coming in over the village. You can see the village kind of ghosted in down here, and Santa coming in on his hot air balloon. And here's an image we've seen before in one of the prior year collections, but I just love it. We've got Santa coming in on a train. Now I want to show you something here that you very seldom see in a Hunkydory kit, but if it ever happens to you, you contact me and I'll fix it for you. Bryce, can you see this here where we actually have the foiling that's been misprinted? You almost never see that, but it happened in this particular kit. So we'll pull this one from inventory, see how the foiling's going right through his face and the bell is off kilter there. So what happens when that occurs is you let me know that you have a sheet that's been misprinted. I'll send you a new one, and then I take it up with Hunkydory on your behalf. We want to make sure that you're 100% satisfied with the products that you get from us, and we'll take care of it for you. So I just want you to know, if you buy it from us, we're going to make the process really easy for you if there is something that needs to be corrected. So I'm kind of glad we saw that, because that's a good catch. We don't want that one going out the door. Okay, but the kit that I used was all intact, so let's go ahead and get started here. We'll start with that image. You can see that mine was printed perfectly, but this first card comes from right here. Now you'll see that the image, the cardstock is slightly larger than the image that I'm using. That's because we're using a 4x8 card from Hunkydory. It's sometimes called a DL. And this cardstock is 8 1/4 inches wide. So we have to trim a little off the top or the bottom. I trimmed a little off the bottom. And then I covered my card with that piece of cardstock. I then added a piece of snowfall acetate because I wanted more snow in the scene. So I added a piece of snowfall acetate over that. I taped my acetate on the back and anchored it to the left side of my card. And then I hid my tape strip with a pretty little border strip off of our topper sheet. Just cut this little border and put it right over the top, and that way you can't see where my adhesive is. I could have, if I'd chosen to do so, I also could have anchored it here under this tag and here under this tag. It really didn't need it. It is very firmly and securely attached to the left side of my card. But I always like to point out to you how I secure the acetate, because we get a lot of questions about that. How do you handle securing acetate so it doesn't show through your card? And usually I do it in one of 2 ways. I either disguise it as I have here, or I use the best glue ever, and I glue it behind my snowflakes I wait for that to dry and then I put it down. If I want to anchor it all over, that's how I would do it. But in addition to the snowfall acetate and this border strip, I cut one of my little snowflakes. I put one of my little jewel dazzles in the center of that just to add a little extra bling. I used my Santa Claus is coming to town at the top of that card. And here I had a little wreath that matched the wreath on the front of the train, so I popped that on there with a piece of foam tape so that it would give my train just even a little bit more added dimension. I covered the inside with my matching insert sheet, and I wanted just a little extra bling on the inside of this one, so I added some jewel dazzle borders. Now, one thing I can tell you is that sometimes when I do this, it's because the insert didn't press right up against the margin, right up against the fold of the card like I like. So often when you see a border inside my card, I'm hiding that. I don't remember if that was the case or not here, but I do like the jewel dazzles inside the card. So that's our first one. Second card is also using that train, and this time I covered this is going to be a European A6, approximately 4 by 6 inch card. I've covered that with this piece of cardstock, and then I have put down a piece of snowfall acetate. Now in this case, I'm actually building up on the acetate before I attached it to my card. So what I would have done is taken this frame is in 3 pieces. I took my inside piece and I put some foam squares on the back of it, and I popped it down to my snowfall acetate. Then I took the center piece and I glued it flush to my snowfall acetate. I took this outer piece, I put it up on some foam squares and put it on my acetate. Now I can see exactly what's being covered by my acetate. So I put my foam strips on the back of my acetate, and then I positioned that over my card. And that way I could be sure that all of my tape strips are clear from view. You won't see any of them because they're all behind that topper set that I built up. Again, I built it up on the acetate and then put it down, so you can see that this one's secured all the way around because I have securely taped this on the back. I added a little bow once again to the front of my train because I had one available, and then I put some little glue accents. I actually glittered some of the little snowflakes that were on the border here, sprinkled some glitter on those and let those dry. And I think that turned out just real cute. The inside of this one is done with, it actually is done with the insert paper that matches this card. And that one's done. Okay, next up, we had the good fortune of getting 2 pieces of our cardstock that were both great images. So we actually got 5 cards out of this kit. This time it comes from this side. And I really thought it added something to have the little village there. So I wanted to use this whole piece. Once again, then I put it on a piece of, on a 4x8 card. And this time I have taken my 4x8, I've put it on my card front, and then I added my snowfall acetate right over the top. Now, just a minute ago, I said there's 2 ways I do that. One is I sometimes anchor. I often anchor behind other elements on the card. Well, I didn't have enough that was layering over that to anchor that way this time. So this time, I have taken my best glue ever, and I'm just gluing on a few of these snowflakes. I'd say 1 to 2 per square inch. Just put 1 or 2 dabs in each inch. And then the real trick to this is you set that acetate aside and you don't do anything with it until the glue on the acetate is dry. Now I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the reason you do that is the best glue ever actually dries into glue dots. And once it's dry, you can put it on your card and it's completely invisible. If I hold this at an angle, you might be able to see where there is a slightly different appearance to those snowflakes, but you really don't see any glue coming through at all. And by letting it dry before I put it down, that glue doesn't spread from behind that white snowflake. So the trick in doing that is set your acetate aside, let it completely dry, so that the best glue ever turns into glue dots.
About how long does that take?
It's going to take, it's not a real fast drying glue, so I'm going to say it will take an average of 20 minutes. So I just move on, work on another card, and then come back to it. I put this little topper on there, and then I wanted just a little bit more of something. So I cut away just about 1/4 of an inch of the outside of my card so you could see a glitter strip showing from the inside of the card. And that ended up being really pretty on the inside and out. Now this particular glitter strip is an edge piece from my Dazzle's borders, my silver jewel borders. It's just one of the throwaway strips off of there. And I cut that in a 1/4 inch strip, and I used that as my sticker because I wanted it a little wider than the typical jewel Dazzle borders were. But isn't that cute? Okay, next up, here's our larger topper from the set. So this one actually requires a 5x7 card. Isn't that pretty, the colors in there though? I love that. That's beautiful. And I wanted to kind of catch the cloudy appearance as well as that dark blue. But I didn't want the distraction of having this big bold line right through the center of my card. And I'd already used 4 inches of this. So what I did is I came up as close as I could, and then I cut just the edge of this with my topper, and I think that turned out really, really pretty. And once again, I was into acetate in this set. Once again, I have taken my card, I have covered it with my background sheet, my 5x7 card. I have added this topper on top of the acetate. I'd usually use about 3 strips of tape to anchor this down. I also put a piece of tape on the back of this and anchored this down. And then I put my acetate on my card and trimmed around it. By doing that, once again, I can see exactly where my toppers are going to cover that. I cut out some of my iridescent snowflakes from my Rainbow Mary. On the inside, I've added a silver jewel dazzle here. And that's about all that needed. And then I covered it with a matching piece of insert paper on the inside. Now this last one, we're going to do a little bit of work on this last one together to accommodate the requests that you made. First of all, let me describe the card and then I'll tell you what we're still going to do to it. This is our final little topper. We pretty much used up most of the cardstock we had available, so I actually used a piece of leftover card from one of my other kits and put this background under here. The other kits were all from a snowy season though, so it's likely if you're running in parallel to what we're doing, you should have this piece of cardstock left over too. I covered my A6, my 4x6 card, with silver mirror board. I put down my topper on some foam squares. I added some little iridescent snowflakes. I put in my Merry Christmas greeting. This is from Elizabeth Craft sticker sheet. And then I called it good. But because we have 5 cards out of this set, I didn't have enough insert paper to finish. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add an insert to this card. And I'm going to do that using one of these Trim Me foiled insert papers. They come, these are the Christmas ones. We have birthday and all occasion also. These insert pads come with 42 sheets in total. I'm going to use the silver one, of course, because I have silver mirror board on mine, and we've already pre-selected one of our sayings. The sayings in this book, just from the For What It's Worth department, are season's greetings, sending warmest winter wishes, have a fun-filled Christmas, Christmas blessings, have a magical festive season from our home to yours this festive season, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And since Santa's coming in a hot air balloon pricing, I concluded that probably our best one for this one was to have a fun-filled Christmas. So that's the one we're going to use. Now the thing about Trim Me's that make these special is if you flip this over and you take a look at the back, the cutting lines have already been distinguished for you. It has all the typical card sizes, starting with a 3x4 vertical. Then I have a 4x3 horizontal. So you just have to pick out the card size that you want to use. Now in our case we're using a 4x6 card, and it needs to be vertical. So I'm going to find my cut line that says 4x6, and I'm just going to cut around that. No need to use a paper cutter, no need for any special tools. I'm just going to cut right on my cut line for 4x6. Sometimes you have to kind of reread the labels to see where your cut line is, because it kind of intersected with a 6x6 there. But I'm just going to cut this out. And there's the 6x6 again. This is my line, the 4x6. Cut it out. And it should be, and is, a perfect fit for my card, just leaving a little border all the way around the insert. That is a quick, easy way to get an insert in your card. Get that nice, beautiful foiling in there. These insert pads are affordable. You can take a look at them in our store. I don't recall the price right off the top, but with 42 sheets to the pad, you get a lot of inserts in a pad of these, and they end up being very affordable. So I'm going to use my Easy Tear tape. Peel this. Doesn't take a lot of tape on these inserts. And I'm going to position this with about, I think what we saw there was about a 1/4 inch border. Put that right down in there. Perfect and finished. So that's how to use the Trim Me sheet. Next thing I want to do is, one of the persons who responded to our video also said, well, you keep talking about adding some tasteful glitter accents. Tell me what you mean by tasteful. And what I mean is, I don't want to put on a lot of glitter. I just want little bits of accent glitter. So what would I glitter on this one? I'm not going to do a whole lot up here on the topper sheet, because this foiling on the topper is really, there's a lot of lines already in it. But I just probably want to add maybe just a touch. Maybe just a little touch of glitter. Maybe just around his basket. You'll notice I went a little bit off there. It isn't going to matter at all, because all it's going to do is just to add a little accent. I'm going to put just a little bit in my trees here. Now you'll notice that this time I'm using my glue bottle rather than my Quickie glue pen. Quickie glue would probably still be the better tool for this, because as you can see, I'm kind of getting little globs here and there. Once again, they will dry clear, and I'll just end up with some really nice little glitter touches there. But Quickie probably still would have been the better tool for this. But you can do it with this glue bottle. Just take it easy when you first set the glue bottle down, that you're not getting those little bubbles of glitter or glue like I did on the first ones there. So I'm just adding some little touches of glitter there. You'll notice I'm working over a coffee filter. That's what I like to use to capture my glitter, to put it back in my jar, because that way I can just put all the glitter I want to on without risking that I lose any of my material at all. I'm going to put just another coat because it's a little heavy in a couple spots there, so I want to make sure I have plenty of glitter. And that's what I meant by tasteful touches. Now, if I wanted to, I could also go around and put just a few spots of glitter over these little white dots on the card. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I have plenty, but I could do that. And if you get glue on your mirror board, it will show. Sometimes you can do what I just did there and you can just wipe it off. Other times you might need to take a little baby wipe or just very, very slightly damp towelette, wipe across there. You can wipe it right off. So there we go. I hope that's helpful to the person who said, tell me what you mean by tasteful amounts of glitter. And I'll pour my glitter back in my bottle. And you can see why that coffee filter is so great. It's so flexible. I can just use it over and over and over again. And then when I'm done with it, I don't feel too bad throwing it away. It's a coffee filter. It's not expensive. This has been the Santa Claus is Coming to Town video. We got 5 cards from this one. If you like these videos and want to know about our supplies that we're using in making these videos, be sure to sign up for our newsletter. I've been putting newsletter links right on the YouTube page, so all you have to do is click on that link to subscribe to our newsletter. When you do that, I will send you a copy of links to where you can get all of these products. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.